Welcome to my mid-game guide. The mid-game is where most of the mistakes happen, so I made a video to minimize those. We're going to talk about what you need to be thinking about coming into the Crugs round. We're going to talk about how reroll comps play the mid-game, how normal comps play the mid-game. Then we're going to talk about building your mid-game comp around a carry. Then I will show some examples of my own mid-game boards and show what makes the comp strong or what makes the comp weak. The mid-game starts at Crugs. Here you need to start thinking about what comp you're going to play this game. You want to choose based on your items more than your champions. For example, if you have components to make IE Last Whisper, the best comps you can go is 3-star Saya Shredder, Cybernetics, or Rebels with Jinx Carry. If you have a lot of tiers to make Seraphs or Chalice, you want to go Star Guardians or Void Brawlers. If you have a lot of rods that can make Deathcap or strong AP items, you want to go Space Gem or Rebels with ASOL GP Carry. If you have Chain Vests to make Bramble or other tank items, you want to go Mech or 2 Vanguard Sorcerer with Poppy Carry. If you find a lot of bows to make Ginsu or RFC, you want to go Chrono Kale or Dark Stars with Zerath Carry. But you don't want to exclusively look at your items. If you already have Graves, Malphite, Blitzcrank, and a Jinx shows up in your shop, and you have okay items for Brawler Blaster, you can still play Brawler Blaster even though your items are better for another comp. You can get the essential items later, and if you don't have perfect items when you finish your comp at around level 8, it's not the end of the world and you might still place well since you hit your units early. Now some of these comps are reroll comps and the others are normal comps, and they have very different playstyles in terms of how you manage your economy going forward. Reroll comps are split into two categories, hyper roll and slow roll comps. Hyper roll comps are comps that want to 3-star their 1 cost by rolling down to about 10 to 0 gold on stage 3-1. This is because you're still level 4 and you have a 60% chance of finding 1 cost in your shop at level 4. The hyper roll comps that are good as of right now is Saya Shredder, where you 3-star Saya, Jarvan, and Caitlyn, or Vanguard Sorcerers that 3-star Poppy, TF, and Zoe. Slow roll comps are comps that want to 3-star 2 costs and 3 costs. You do this by leveling to 6 or 7 depending on the comp and then rolling down to 50 gold every turn. Typically you want to 3-star more than half your board in these comps, so you need more gold to hit all of them. Therefore, we slow roll down to 50 gold every turn. Slow roll comps that are good as of right now is Mech Infiltrator and Space Gem. With both of these, you slow roll on level 6. You can also play Protectors or Star Guardians, but these comps have completely fallen out of the meta, so I would not recommend you play them. If you want to play reroll comps, it is crucial to scout at Crugs. This is because slow roll comps can only support 1 player and hyper roll comps can support 2 players at max, but you always prefer to be uncontested when playing your reroll comp. Therefore, you want to see what other people are playing and if anyone else is going your comp. But most importantly, you want to look at people's items and the units they are holding to see what comp they're playing. If someone has made QSS and Bramble Vest, they will be playing Mech most of the time. If someone has IE Last Whisper on a Xayah and they are level 4, they will most likely be hyper rolling Xayah. I personally never play reroll comps unless I know I am uncontested. I want to add that reroll comps tend to be a bit more item dependent than other comps, so you can't use the crucial item components as freely as you can in the normal comps. When it comes to leveling, hyper roll comps never level in the early game, and after they naturally hit level 5 on 3-2, they roll again on 4-1 if they're missing crucial 3-stars, and if they hit all their 3-stars, they fast 8. Slow roll comps can level aggressively in the early game to win streak, but at stage 3-5 you want to be level 6 with 50 gold and then start rolling down to 50 every turn after. All normal comps have similar playstyles, and almost all of them are dependent on getting legendaries to hit their big power spikes. Therefore they all want to level to 8 as fast as possible while preserving as much HP as possible. Sometimes if you get really low, typically around 40 HP, you want to roll at level 7 to stabilize. You want to scout in the mid game to see what other people are playing. Most normal comps can support 2 to 3 players. This is because you almost never go for 3-stars in these comps. With 2 people on 1 comp, both players can 2-star everything relatively easy. With 3 people, it becomes a bit harder, so you want to avoid going a comp if 2 other people are playing it. The only exception is if you have perfect items for it, or if the comp is currently OP. Some comps have to play more aggressive than other comps in the mid game, as their combat mechanics are not as strong. Rebels, for example, can come back really hard if you hit GP, ASOL, and MF when you roll on 8. Whereas Brawler Blaster won't spike as hard as the Rebel player when you go from 3 Brawlers to 4 Brawlers. As a general rule, when playing normal comps, you want to make at least one item if you have 4 or more components. Some comps are a bit more item dependent than others, so make sure to know what items are crucial for the comp you're playing. If you're playing Rebels, make sure to have components for GA before you build other items with swords and chain vests. Though sometimes if you're losing a lot of HP, you might be forced to make items to stabilize. It is not the end of the world if you use up crucial item components to save HP. There is a chance you will get them later. When playing normal comps, you want to always be level 5 at stage 3-1. If you're on a 5+ win streak on stage 3-1, you level to 6 if you stay above 30 gold. On stage 3-2, always level to 6 if you're on a 3+ win streak. If you're not on a win streak, level to 6 on 3-2 if you stay above 30 gold. At stage 3-5, you level to 7 if you're on a 4+ win streak and you stay above 30 gold. If you're not on a win streak, level to 7 on 3-5 if you stay above 40 gold. But know that if you're going to level, make sure you have something good to put in that gives you something in terms of frontline, CC, damage, or synergies. For example, leveling to put in a 1-star Malphite that doesn't give you Brawler or Rebel synergy will not be worth it most of the time. If you did a good job ecoing in the mid-game, you will be level 7 on stage 4-1 with 50 gold or more. A lot of people think about what comp they're going every time they play, but most people don't think about the current comp they're playing. To understand this a bit easier, we have an early game comp that we play on stage 2, then we use a mid-game comp on stage 3, a late game comp on stage 4, and an end game comp on stage 5 and onwards. If you're planning on playing Dark Stars, you don't want to play Dark Stars in the mid-game. Dark Stars is a late game comp, not a mid-game comp. If you're playing Rebels, don't play 4 to 5 Rebels in the mid-game. Usually you only play 3 Rebels or even 0. To build the strongest board at any time is hard, and it is advice you hear everywhere. You gotta play your strongest board every turn. This is not easy and is probably one of the hardest skills to master in TFT. To play your strongest board in the mid-game, you need to know who your mid-game carry is. This is commonly your item carrier, but in most of my games, it's either Saya, Darius, Lucian, Ahri, Kai'Sa, or Caitlyn. And if I get lucky, then sometimes Kayle, Irelia, Jhin, or Jinx can carry as well. Once you know who your carry is, you need to know what enables them to carry. Does it need more frontline so it can stay alive and deal tons of damage? Or does it need to have Blade Master buff to be able to do anything? You get a different board every game, so it's very hard to consistently be able to pick out what the strongest board is. I will show some examples of comps from my mid-game, and show what's good with them and bad with them. And in the description I will leave some mid-game boards that you can aim for in your games. Here I am on stage 3-1. I have no clear carry as my Caitlyn is only 1-star. And I don't have another carry that is 2-star on my bench or in my shop. So here I'm a bit in a rough spot. If I keep playing this board, I will just keep losing. I don't know which comp I'm playing yet, so if I make items, they need to be flexible. Here I also need to think, where does this board succeed if I look at my synergies, units, and items? I have 4 Chrono and 2 Vanguard. So I know that the longer this fight lasts, the higher my chances are of winning, as the Chrono buff will let me outscale the other team. If I look at my items, I have Ionic Spark, which will deal some damage, but not too much. My units are all CC or stalling units except for Caitlyn. So how this board wins is by stalling and CCing the other team to allow Caitlyn to ult multiple times. Therefore, I also end up making Zephyr and Redemption. These 2 items are very flexible and they can fit into any comp. But most importantly, these are great stalling items for my current comp. On stage 3-2, I don't get offered any upgrades that make my team stronger, so I just stick to the same game plan as last round by just trying to stall. On stage 3-3, I get lucky and a Kayle shows up in my shop, so I just level and play it, and from here I finally get direction towards a comp. I can play Chrono Kayle as I already have 1 bow, and my other items are great support items to let Kayle carry. Here is another example of where I don't have a clear mid-game carry. My Darius is only 1-star, so it will fall off very quickly in the mid-game. I have Fiora 2-star, with no items and no Blade Master buff or Cyber buff, so she can't carry either. I have great frontline with 2 Vanguard, and if I need more, there is a Malphite 2-star on my bench. But here all my damage is from Darius, and he won't do a lot, so I'm in a weak spot. I can't really make any items that would help me and are flexible. I have two options here. Pick up Shen and Wukong to play Chronos instead of Pirates, or I can focus on making money by staying above 40 gold and hoping the Pirates make me some money. On 3-2, I level to 6 as I stay above 30 gold. I do this as Malphite will save me some HP. The shop and my items don't give me any direction towards a comp. As you can see here, by leveling we saved around 6 HP as the Malphite killed 3 units that were very low. This might not sound like a lot, but in some lobbies, 6 HP can be the difference between getting a 7th and a 4th place. On 3-3, I get a couple different options in my shop with Jace, Vi, and a Darius pair. This gives me a bit more directions towards Cybers or Brawler Blaster, but my items are so bad I might not be able to play any of those two comps. My strongest board here is Vi in for Graves and Jace in for Darius. I get even more tanky, and 3 Cybers gives me a bit more damage so it won't just be a noodle fight. In the third example, my main carry is Xayah, and my backup carry is Kha'Zix. But my board lacks major frontline. I don't have too many options as I need to keep Shen for Blademaster and Chrono. The only thing I can do is level and play Leona Lucian over Kha'Zix or Ezreal, or level up and play Rakan. There is no option that sounds great here, so I ended up just playing the same board and staying above 40 gold. On 3-2, I level as I stay above 30 gold. The optimal unit to put in here is Rakan, as he gives me CC and Celestial. I just want to keep my Xayah alive for as long as possible, so I don't need more damage. Therefore, Rakan. On 3-3, I have a really good shop with both Kayle and Irelia. It gives me direction towards both Chrono Kayle as well as Cybers. I don't have a single bow yet, so if I'm going Kayle from this spot, that doesn't sound the best. But I have Last Whisperer and 1 glove away from IE, so I choose to pick up Irelia and play Cybers from here. The optimal play here would be to sell Xayah to move Last Whisperer over to Irelia, Chain Vest on Lucian for future red buff, sell Kha'Zix to put Leona in, and put Negatron Cloak on both Fiora and Leona. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you learned something, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment below what video you want me to make next, and I also want to thank everybody for all the kind words in the previous video. All the views and likes, it got a ton of support, so I want to thank you guys for that. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.